丈夫大丈夫大丈夫だよ大丈夫っぽい大丈夫大丈夫大丈夫大丈夫大丈夫大丈夫大丈夫大丈夫大丈夫か大丈夫大丈夫大丈夫だよ大丈夫なの大丈夫か大丈夫
Hello, you're listening to Daijoubu podcast. I'm Christian, and I'm here today with Gabby.
Hello.
And David.
Hey.
This is our second week, and this is our second podcast, and we're, after reviewing our first podcast, we decided to change a few things about the format and what we're exactly doing with the podcast, because we felt like the business model that we had originally was going to get kind of boring, because, you know, us reviewing episodes every week isn't really going to change people's minds of what they're watching, and it's pretty pointless if we just say the plot of every new episode every week. So we decided to probably scrap that, and instead we're going to have an end of season review, and that last episode is just our spring 2016 preview basically now, and instead we're going to basically have a different theme for every episode, and we're just going to randomly come up with anime topics to talk about that we're really interested, right guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we're super excited about that. Another thing that we're going to be trying out is for those of you watching on Twitch or YouTube, we've added webcams, if you've noticed. So we're going to see how that plays out, see how it feels, if it's any more comfortable or anything. And yeah, I think, does that cover it, guys? Cover all the changes?
Yeah, pretty much. We'll probably mention, like, throughout the season of the anime, maybe, like, if something big happens, we'll be like, oh my god, you guys, the episode of, like, Cabaneri the other day was amazing, or, like, every once in a while maybe touch on stuff, but...
Yeah, we're definitely going to keep up with it. We're going to have an end-of-season review, and we might have a mid-season review. We're going to see how it goes. Like 6 or 7 episodes in, we're going to say if we've dropped any shows or something, and maybe we'll have a whole podcast episode dedicated to it. Not sure. We'll see how everything plays out. But for today's podcast, we're going to be talking about 4 shows from spring 2016 that we didn't talk about last week because they didn't air. Their first episodes didn't air. And those shows are going to be Sakamoto Desuga, Kisniver, which I did talk about episode 0, but that wasn't a real episode. It was just a weird talk show thing. And then Flying Witch and also Kuromakuro. So that's the first half of today's episode. And then the second half is going to be... What is it?
Our favorite anime.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about our favorite animes.
Yeah, because we, like, touched on them last week, but then this time we're going to try and have more discussion about it, actually.
And this is a good chance for us to just, like, really kind of lay out what we like, get to, you know, express our personality a bit more. So
yeah. Get the viewers to know who we are personally better in our anime journeys or whatever. But also, if for those of you watching, you might be wondering, why is Christian in front of a Spider-Man? Well, the answer is because David thought my room was messy.
It is messy.
And, okay, no, it is messy, but instead of being the mature adult that I should have been and cleaning my room, I decided to just mask it with this awesome blanket that I have since, like, junior high school or something like that. But, yeah, so this isn't product placement or anything. I'm just the only blanket...
We got Spider-Man to sponsor us, you know. No big deal.
Yeah, it's the only blanket I have, so sorry about that. Anyways, so let's get into it, right?
Cool. All right, so I'm going to talk about Sakamoto. So I watched this, and I think we touched on this last week. And I had said that I don't think I had read the manga, but I actually went back to read the manga before I watched the show. And it turned out I had read the manga, and I was just like, oh, I totally remember this. And it was like just as hilarious as I remember it being. And then I watched the anime, and it was also like pretty solid. Like, Gabby, have you seen? So we've all seen this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We all watched it.
Yeah, it's just so. For those who don't know, he's just like Sakamoto is this student. I think it's in high school, probably like the first day of high school or something like that. And there's some bullies who like don't like him because he's too perfect, and they just try to like, you know, do bully stuff to him, and he just fucking gets away with it every time, and he just plays it off so smoothly, and you're just like, like I want to be Sakamoto. He's so cool, and that's pretty much the episode. It's just like him, you know,
Being suave.
yeah, outplaying these bullies. So yeah.
Yeah, so he's like we said this before that he's like the One Punch Man of slice of life.
Yeah.
He's like everyone thinks he's like the coolest dude in school. Everyone has a crush on him, and even
Yeah.
like by the time the bullies are done bullying him, like even they are like he's so cool.
Yeah. Like one scene, he like takes a picture of Sakamoto's face. It's just like it's like supposed to be some embarrassing picture, just like
Yeah,
oh,
it was
like
supposed to be like blackmail or something.
right, and then like at the end of the scene where like he just outplays them again,
Yeah.
the bully's like looking at his phone. He's just like, maybe I'll make this my background.
Yeah.
It's just like yes.
It's so
So-
great. He just plays off all these different bully things. It's great, and and all the little scenes of them just like sitting in the like play yard where they're passing the ball, just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's funny too.
really weird. My general reaction from it towards the end was okay. So One Punch Man was the big show of fall, and some of my friends who aren't that big into anime, I tried to get them to watch One Punch Man, and they watched the first episode, and they thought it was, it's really hype. The story's about a guy who can beat everyone in one punch. But all of my friends who didn't watch anime immediately after that episode, like, looked at me and said, "Is that it?" And I was like, "Wait, what do you mean? Is that it?" And they were just saying, how do you make a show on a guy who beats everyone in one punch? And that's a really good question. But One Punch Man handled it really well because the whole show isn't about Saitama just fighting people. Yeah. It's about the characters around him and how everyone else takes in Saitama. And
his struggle with wanting to be popular rather than just like him. He knows he's strong, but he wants to be like popular as Genos and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so it's not just about the strength in the fights. It's about there's more to it. And it reminded me a lot of Sakamoto because after the first episode, you notice, okay, this is the trend. He's gonna beat everyone who bullies him. Like anybody who opposes Sakamoto, he's gonna very suavely and smoothly just put them in their place. And it's really funny in the first episode, but you kind of question how is this gonna keep going. And I think that's how they're gonna do it. Is they're gonna show more people. Like, I don't even think we're gonna learn anything about Sakamoto's life. That'd be really cool if he's still a mystery by the next 12 episodes, and they just show us everyone else's relationship with Sakamoto. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that's how it turns out, and that sounds really fun. But did you have something to say, David?
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll get really old if every episode is just like him, just avoiding these bullies in a smooth, suave, cool way. Like it's like by the third episode, it's like cool. All right, you're cool. I get it. Like I need more substance. So hopefully it'll go the same route. So I've only read a few chapters of the manga, just like the very beginning of it, and yeah. So I have no idea how it's gonna play out. But overall, I'd say it's solid first episode. The first episode was really true to the manga, as far as I've read, and like it didn't make me laugh out loud like other animes have done, but I definitely like chuckled a bit, so definitely enjoyable.
I agree. All those statements.
Hey, hold on. I'm gonna leave 1 second. My roommate's knocking on my door. You guys get to the next one.
Okay.
You guys talk about Kuromakuro, right?
Oh yeah, David watched that, right?
Okay, so yeah, Kuromakuro is this anime. It's like a mech anime by PA Works. And the only reason I know PA Works is because Shirobako, which I was like a few seasons ago, fucking loved Shirobako. It is such a great anime. So I thought, all right, mechs, and I love mechs, with this studio, PA Works, who created Shirobako. I was like, this should be good, right? So I watched the first episode, and it was alright. I mean, it kept my attention. And so the plot line is there's this girl, her mom works for like the UN, and her mom is just like in this really, really, really high position in the UN, and she like designed the mechs that for some reason they created. And then towards the end, there's like, oh yeah, like demons from another world will come and, you know, attack us, and then that's exactly what happens. So yeah, and so that girl, I forget her name, but she's like the main protagonist. I feel like she's just like in the UN building, and she's getting attacked by all these like the building's getting attacked by all these like mech demon looking things that bleed when they get cut, which is weird because they're like really they look exactly like robots. So when their limbs come off and there's like blood splaying out, you're just like, this is weird.
Wait, is that like kind of like Evangelion? Because like in
Yeah,
Evangelion,
yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Yeah.
Okay, so they're like alien robots and they like are alive. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
yeah. So it was cool. I mean, that was the first episode. Yeah, it kind of ended on a cliffhanger. Have we decided we're not going to do spoilers, or we're going to do like spoiler free?
I mean, you can, if you want to do spoilers, you can just say, hey, this is slight spoiler.
Okay, yeah, just like slight spoiler. There's like a cube in the UN building, and it's like this black cube. No one knows what it was. It was like locked up, and it's just like, oh yeah, we found this, and it was like, okay. And then when the demons started attacking, the cube opens up, and it's like some dude, and he's naked, and he just like flops out of the cube, and he's just like, where am I? And he like looks at the girl, the main protagonist girl, and he's like, oh, princess, I'm so glad you're like safe. And I'm just like, what? And she's like, what? And then he just starts fighting these demon things with his like sword, and he's like completely naked the entire time. So, but it's like very serious, like not like there's no comedy in that situation at all. He's just some naked dude that just came out of this cube, and that's where the episode ended. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know if I would suggest it to you guys. I'll probably keep watching it, maybe till maybe I drop it if it gets like really bad. But I'll definitely keep up with it.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so I watched Kisniver, and I was already super stoked about this show because I really did like Kill la Kill, and Trigger, like, that was Trigger's first big thing. They're pretty new studio. Like, they made Gurren Lagann, or they were like on the design team or something of Gurren Lagann, so a lot of like how awesome Gurren Lagann was just went straight into Kill la Kill, and it was like almost the same story but a lot more fun than Gurren Lagann. Like it's much more crazy. They take the crazy dial up, but
yeah, for sure.
They haven't really made much big things. They've been making shorts ever since.
They made Little Witch Academia.
Oh right, yeah.
That one is so cute.
Little Witch Academia.
And I remember. So I watched it, and just the animation was just so smooth. Everyone like fell in love with it, and I think they got enough money to make a second one. But I feel like that's when they started getting known. Inferno Cop was their first work.
Yeah, the that ONA. Yeah, I didn't watch that, but a lot of people have like salt about that. They were just like, oh yeah. People either like love Inferno Cop or they're just like, nah, it was just bad, but whatever. Okay, so after Little Witch Academia, that's basically the two big things. They're making this, Kisniver, and this is their 2016 TV series, and they're putting like all of their money into it, I'm pretty sure. And after the first episode, I can say I'm legitimately really excited. It's I'll just recap the plot real quick again, which I actually now know that I watched the first episode. Basically, it's about this corporation who is trying to test out this new thing called the
It was just like.
It was like it was a Japanese word for connection, which is like kizu or something like that.
Yeah, it was very similar to the Kisniver.
Yeah, Kisniver thing, and it's like the Keys Project, whatever it was, and it means connection project in Japanese. And they are saying that the corporation says that there's so much war in the world that the only way we can stop the war is if we all understand each other's pain. So we're linking together people's bonds through their wounds.
Yeah.
So they just link these six random people.
Yeah, but then she kept talking about the 7 deadly sins, and she only talked about 6 people. So I feel like maybe she might be the 7th or something.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
So 7 deadly sins. That was Yeah, she's probably the seventh person. But anyways, yeah, they link their bonds together and or their wounds together, and so whenever one of them feels pain, it gets distributed to all of them, and now they have to be in this corporation forcibly, and now they have to, and they don't even like know each other. Like two of them kind of know each other,
Yeah.
but all the
They're
rest
all
of
in
them
like
don't
the
know who
same
they are.
class.
Yeah, yeah,
School or
they're all.
something? Yeah.
I think they're all from the same class. So whatever. They kept the first episode like really mysterious. It's much more serious than Kill la Kill felt already. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot because Kill la Kill just it almost felt like childish how insane it got so fast. But
That's part of its
I mean
charm.
it was fun. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
part of their shtick was like how fun it can get. But this one looks like they're trying to be more serious with it.
Yeah,
So.
they still have some eccentric characters, like the guy with the like pinkish hair that's big. He looks just like Kamina, like in his body language and everything. He's very Kamina like.
Mhm.
So that's like where they get that. And then there's a girl, the girl with like the multiple colored hair, and she has like
she's like super eccentric, super weird.
Yeah, her name is
Yeah.
like Iko,
She's
and
like
she
looking
reminds
for
me of like
fairies.
yeah, she reminds me of Luna Lovegood from like Harry
Yeah.
Potter,
Yeah.
and like those are the two like weird characters where I feel like they're gonna get some of their crazy out. So.
So yeah, I watched it as well, and yeah, the beginning was weird. It's just like I don't know. There's like this girl standing on top of like this tall building, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you'll get your pain back." And then his hair turns white, and I'm like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah.
That's,
Like,
yeah, that's foreshadowing. That's what that was. It's so
And-
good. Makes you excited for what's gonna come next. Makes you want to figure it out.
right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, can I just say one thing? I'm gonna say that I feel like the reasoning behind this like system of pain is like it's such a terrible reason. It's like, oh, we have to make sure everyone understands everybody's pain. Everyone's
But
gonna
aren't
get
they like in a
like,
war or something like that?
I have
Yeah,
no idea.
yeah.
Okay.
She was explaining it as like this is like a constant war zone or whatever. There's no peace.
Yeah. So they're
So-
trying to figure out a way to establish peace in there. This is like an experiment to say, hey, if you know each other's pain, will you not want to hurt someone else? So
Yeah.
then there will be peace. Therefore, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. See, I thought they were gonna apply it to like everyone in the whole world, and it's like that sucks. Like,
No, yeah, no. That's
can't do anything
dumb.
painful ever again, I guess. Like, jeez.
No, I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
their
definitely-
intention.
definitely.
They didn't explain it. Like I see, I see where you like where your confusion is, but
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, so. Oh yeah, next one. So Flying Witch
Yeah.
is the next anime. It's on my list to be watching over the week or whatever to keep up with. But we're gonna let me and Gabby both watched it, and so Gabby, you can go ahead and explain that one because I just explained Kisniver.
Yeah. So basically, you go into it, and there's a girl, and she's coming into a new town, and she's coming to visit her like second cousin or something. It's a distant relative, and they don't say right off the bat that she's a witch, right?
No, they don't.
No,
Yeah, and so
it's
like
just the title.
yeah, so you know she's a witch obviously because of the title, but like she's coming to this town, and basically it's just real cute because so the guy that she's staying with, which is her cousin. I'm sucking at explaining this right now. 'Cause it's so
You got it.
much not very much happened, and it's I feel like if I explain it, it'll sound boring, but it's not.
That's slice of life. That's what
I
slice of
know.
life is.
It's a very slice of like
It's so slice of life. And so she gets there, and instantly his little like, sister is like really suspicious of her. She's like, this girl's really weird. And then he's like, well, why don't you guys go off to like the grocery store and get to know each other? And that's when she finds out she's a witch because she just is like casually is like, oh, this broom is nice. And then she all of a sudden just starts levitating, and she's like, what the? And then the girl falls in love with her because then she takes her for like a little fly around, and
right.
then he introduces her to another girl who is probably going to be another main character because she's like in the opening and stuff, that goes to school with them, and she is very hesitant on being her friend because she's a witch, and but later on she like tells her more about how like she like opens up to her a little bit, so and some weird stuff happens like with the mandrake.
Mandrake, yeah. Which I thought was a good season.
I
So,
loved it.
but yeah, the little girl of do you know the main protagonist's name? Or we're just gonna call her like witch
Oh
girl?
no! Yeah,
Makoto?
it's Makoto. Yeah.
Okay, so Makoto's second cousin this second cousin's little sister thought that Makoto was so weird because he would talk to her cat
Yeah.
like normal, like a normal person. And it was just like, I'm pretty sure at some point we're gonna see this cat like talk, right? Like either through his mind or just like physically. But yeah, that's why she thought, Makoto was so weird. And
Yeah, she was like talking to the cat way too much. You don't talk to
right.
cats that much.
Yeah. So, but then like when they revealed, like when she was like flying on the broom, I was just like, when she like levitated on it just to test out the broom, I was just like, wait, shouldn't the fact that you're a witch be kind of kept secret? Like, I don't understand. You're just flying out in the
Yeah.
open, and then you just like flew to someone's house. Like, people see that. Like, this is not Harry Potter. You can't just like
Yeah.
make people forget. So it seems like they're taking this spin of like this magical element like witches and I don't know what other stuff there might be, but it seems like they're taking a very casual like slice
Yeah.
of life, like this is definitely an element of the world that we live in, so witches definitely exist. So like it's shocking that you're a witch because we don't have one in this town, but we do know of its existence, so I really like that.
Yeah, because I mean, she explains it a little bit to the girl that's in her class later on, and I feel like it's very similar to like how in Kiki's Delivery Service, where there are like areas where people know about witches because they're more common in the areas, but obviously this is a town that hasn't seen witches in a while.
Right.
And she was saying that they don't really keep it secret, but they don't necessarily like tell the world that they exist.
Right.
So it's just like a fine line.
Yeah.
So like if you know who they are, then like you know about witches, but otherwise they're not going to go around telling you.
Okay, so what I am most excited about the series is the fact that it's made by JC Staff. And JC Staff is a really, really old studio. They've been around for a long time. Like they've made Revolutionary Girl Utina. They made Azumanga Daioh. Like they've made like so many things in the past, and like recently, like I kind of want to say like they're a godlike studio, but I haven't watched that many things of them, so I can't just say that. Like I'm not that type of person. But they did make the scientific or the Tawaru series, and that's like a certain scientific railgun and a certain magical index. And I did just watch those, like all of them, in like it's 100 episodes in like a month, so like 4 months ago or something. So all of that like art and that style is just like really fresh in my mind. And as soon as I watched like the first opening scene from Flying Witch, and I saw the scenery, and I saw like JC Staff does this thing where they make all of their vehicles 3D. So I guess it's easier to animate 3D vehicles than it is to draw them, I guess, because that makes sense. But as soon as I saw like the classic background in like a small city, and I saw like the 3D car, I was like, wow, I feel like I am back in Railgun. And Railgun is like definitely like a guilty pleasure. Like it just makes me feel happy just watching it, like turning my brain off and just watching it. I just feel like super happy. And as soon as I watched Flying Witch, I was like straight into that mood, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. So
Yeah.
it
makes sense that they made Azumanga Daioh as well, because I feel like it has similar humor-ish, and I'm really excited now that I know that they also made that, because I love Azumanga Daioh.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so like I would describe Flying Witch in one word as just refreshing. Like it's just a refreshing slice of life compared to like watching something like Bakuwan from this season. Like it's their like moe slice of life, and it's just like so over the top, and they're trying to be funny and stuff that it's just exhausting. And watching something like Flying Witch makes me just feel refreshed, and I feel good about my life choices or something. But
yeah, there's like moe that like is very pandering, very fan servicey, and like which is fine. Like I definitely like some of that stuff, and I'll watch it. But like this, like Flying Witch, it's just like you don't stay for the pandering cute girls or like the boobs. You stay because this is an interesting plot. You like the characters. It's just very slow, very slice of life, and so I agree. Like it's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess that covers it. That's the rest. That's the part 2 of
wait.
Spring. Yeah, what's up?
Wait, real quick. I actually remembered this as we were talking about Sakamoto, because yesterday I found out there was another one that we missed. It's called Tanaka-kun is Always Listless, and it has. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched the Master of Killing Time. You guys
Nope.
ever watched that?
Mm-mm.
It's like this little short anime where it's just this kid who he basically does anything to distract himself during class. And so at one point, like he builds this crazy eccentric thing with like pencils and erasers, and it's like he puts a marble in, and the girl next to him is just always really distracted by what he's doing. And the whole little thing is that he is always doing something crazy that she doesn't understand how the teacher doesn't realize he's doing it.
Uh-huh.
And it's just really funny because like all her reactions, she like is so engrossed in his stuff, even though she wants to pay attention. And but that's not this season. But anyways, it just reminds me of that. So I'm not sure if anyone else who's watching has watched it, but the Tanaka-kun is Always Listless has a very similar feel to that, where it's just like the main character, his main goal is to be as lazy as possible, and he'll go to extremes to make his life easier. So like,
That sounds awful.
most of the episode is him like trying to figure out the proper placement for him to like take naps in. So like if he does this, like if he puts his hand on his chin, then his like arm will fall asleep. But if he like sleeps on the desk like with his arms crossed, then like his back hurts. So like he's like the whole time he's like trying to think of the perfect positioning to sleep. And he has this best friend who is like really like everyone thinks he's such a cool dude, and he like appreciates him for how much effort he puts into being lazy. And it's so good. And it's really hilarious. It sounds really strange, but it's hilarious. I was laughing so much during the episode, so that's one that I recommend.
So just going off Gabby real quick, I don't want to go into like specifics, but just shout out to ReZero. I don't know the rest of the name, but yeah, ReZero is really good, and Joker Game I just watched recently. So also I just like really like. So anyone who's listening and is kind of like hesitant on picking those up, they seem really good so far, and I know I'm definitely gonna keep up with it. So
cool.
Sounds good. I don't even remember what I'm watching anymore. Like I'm just like randomly watching stuff whenever you guys tell me to. So whatever.
Dude, that's what Mal's for, dude.
No, I don't know. I don't know how I keep up with my anime. Like, how do I remember to watch like 8 shows a week or whatever?
You don't, and that's why you just forget, and then you drop something by accident.
That is so true. That is how you drop things. Just like the reason dropped, I don't remember. I was watching that.
Yeah, it's easier with the simulcast because I literally every day I'll just go on Crunchyroll and be like, what is new? And then I like, I'm watching that one. I'm watching that one, and
yeah.
All right, so do you guys want to cut into our second half of the show now?
Sure.
All right, so like we said before, now we're going to be talking about our favorite anime. And it's really hard to just pick one, at least for us. So we might be talking about a couple more, each of us. I'm not sure. We'll see how this plays out. But we all have one prepared to talk about, at least. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Cool, because I don't want to.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, we decided to do themes, and this week's theme was favorite anime. And so I was thinking all week of which, quote-unquote favorite anime I like, and I like wrote out all these notes, and then like 5 minutes before the podcast, he was like, oh yeah, you know what? Favorite anime is hard, so let's just choose a few others. So I was like, cool. But anyway, so I have all these notes on this one anime that I really like. It's called Shinseka Yori, or From the New World, is the English translation. And it's a drama, horror, mystery, sci-fi, supernatural anime. A1 Pictures is the studio for the anime, and A1 has made a bunch of things. They made Sword Art Online, they made Anohana, they made Fairy Tail, they made Your Lie in April, they made Erased, they made Idolmaster. I've never watched Idolmaster, but I feel like I should one day. Anyways, so it's this really good studio that's made a bunch of good anime, and so From the New World is based on this novel, and it's like a straight up novel that was written in 2008, so it's not like a manga or a light novel or anything. And then it got an anime adaptation in 2012. So, yeah, so the general plot line of Shinseka Yori, I don't know if either of you guys have watched it.
No, I have not watched it.
Okay,
I know
okay.
it's like really interesting and I want to watch it. So try to keep yours spoiler free.
Okay, okay, I will. I will. No, I definitely will. Um, so the main plot line is that there's 5 characters, 5, kind of young children, and they live in this sort of like seemingly utopian society. And just before I go on, the first few episodes of this anime are like super slow. Like it's just like nothing happens, and all my friends that I've suggested this anime to, they're like, "Yeah, I watched like 3 episodes, but then I never, finished because it was like boring." I was like, "Cool." So that was supposed to be a girl, by the way. I don't know why my voice was.
Yeah, that's a really good girl impression.
But so yeah, so there's 5 main characters, and they live in this like society, and they in this society they kind of have like a force like power like from Star Wars, in the sense that they can like control things or like move objects. So it's kind of like telekinesis slash the force in a way.
Is it the Force telekinesis?
Uh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. I haven't watched Star Wars that much.
I have
but...
no idea.
Okay.
So, anyways, that's pretty much the first not the first episode. That's pretty much the general plot line, and you follow these children, as they become more mature, as they grow up, as they start to slowly realize, that they're this again seemingly utopian style of life is not as perfect as they might think, as they like learn more and more about, I guess, adult society. So yeah, that's the general plot line. And the reason I love this show so much is because the story just is so good. It's like so fleshed out. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of elements. There's a really good antagonist. Like the last like few episodes, it's just amazing because the antagonist is so just like he's so fleshed out. He's so good. He's more than just like I'm evil. I'm gonna do evil things. No, there's just like there's the anime makes me think about my life choices or like society's life choices in the sense that like sure this makes it more convenient, but does does my life being more convenient, does that is that better
For society or whatever.
right? Is that like
Okay.
me doing evil stuff to make my life more convenient? Is that all right? Is that okay? But society accepts it, so I guess I'll accept it too. There's like children making my Nike shoes, but I guess I'm fine with that. So
Yeah.
so that anime kind of makes me think. It's not just like a simple storyline where there's like I need friends to defeat this one monster who's gonna destroy the world, yeah, and then they do. So yeah, that's why I really like the anime. It has a great plot. The world building is amazing. Antagonist is really good, and it's just a really, I want to say, not smart anime, but it definitely makes you think. So
Mhm.
that's Shinsekai Yori.
Awesome. Your
Yeah.
favorite one. Hold on, real quick. Is my chair squeaking?
Yes.
That's really
A little
squeaky,
bit, yeah.
isn't it?
Yes.
Ooh.
Mine does too.
My chair is awful. Yeah, that is definitely like once I get real life money, that's the one thing I'm gonna buy first.
Oh,
A
yeah,
new
for sure.
office chair, because this
Yeah,
thing
mine
is.
does.
I've fallen out of this chair like I don't know twice a week or something.
Just
like
go,
that.
just go to like a rich part of Atlanta, and go to like a Goodwill in the rich part of area and just buy. Yeah, because they throw away nice stuff all
That's
the
a
time.
good idea because I got
No,
this at
yeah.
Goodwill. And this
No,
is
no,
exactly-
no, no, no. You guys don't understand rich people. Rich people, when they throw things away, they just like light it on fire. They just like blow it up. They're just like, yeah, that's my money. I don't care. This doesn't matter at all. I'm not in Shinsekai Yori.
And Christian would know because he's rich, right?
Yeah, I have rich
He's-
friends. I
He's
have
just
rich
like
friends.
lights things on fire.
Yeah.
So anyways, do you guys have any questions about Shinsekai Yori or anything?
Not really. I guess I understand more of the show now. I just know like a lot of people consider that like their hidden gem anime. Like no one likes talking about it that much. At least on forums that I go to, they're not like raving about Shinsekai Yori. But anybody who does talk about it, they're just like, yeah, top. Like this is like probably one of the only 10s I have in my list.
I honestly think that the reason people haven't seen it, even though it's people like praise it so much, is because they'll start watching it and it's just so boring in the beginning. And I understand that it's really boring, so they'll just drop it. But you're really rewarded for like sticking through it. So yeah,
Yeah,
give
'cause,
it
like,
a
when
give it a shot,
David-
guys.
When David first brought it up when we were like talking about which ones we were gonna choose. And he said this one, I was like, I've never even heard of this. And like, but then I like checked it out on like my anime list, and it's like has good reviews and stuff. And I was like, why haven't I don't understand? Like, how have I not heard of it? And it's like everyone's keeping it a secret. Like they want it to be theirs.
Yeah. That's totally like a David thing to do. All right. Anyways, I'll go next. I'll talk about my favorite anime, and that would probably have to be the Monogatari series. I really, really like that show, and it's just a show that I've watched like so much stuff on that I could probably talk about it with somebody who else has watched it, probably for like hours or something. But yeah, so the show is made by Shaft. Shaft is, I don't know if they're like how long they've been around, but they've made a bunch of other good things like Mahashoujo Madoka Magica, and they made Nisekoi, which I don't know if that's well received.
Nisekoi.
Yeah, I know you watched it, David.
You should
right?
watch it, but you should not watch it at the same time.
Yeah, that's like the Monogatari series, honestly. So yeah, they also made like Hidamari Sketch. Did you watch that, Gabby? Hidamari Sketch. Okay, it's like really old and just like cute show. But anyways, so I'm not that familiar with Shaft things, but I know that people like them. So whatever. I really like the Monogatari series, so I guess I love them. But hold on one second. Okay, so Monogatari series has been going on since 2009, and they have like I think 8 seasons now, and it's
That's so many seasons.
Yeah, and but like in theory, like after 3 seasons they made, the producers just called the next like series "This is second season," and like it doesn't really make any sense. But let's just start with the first one, Bakemonogatari, and the plot for Bakemonogatari is basically there's a young boy named, not young, he's a high school student. There's a high school student named Koyomi Araragi, and he basically is turned into a vampire, and random oddities keep happening around his town, and they happen to girls, by the way, so you get a
Super
harem
cute girls.
sense here.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like a dramedy harem ghost story show.
Supernatural. Yeah.
Supernatural, yeah. And it's just about how he helps these girls out. How he like figures out what oddities are wrong with them, and that's it. Like it's pretty dull. This show is definitely not for everyone. It's a very slow show, kind of like Shinseki Yori, because there's no action. Like there's like maybe 2 fight scenes in one whole season. Fight scenes, and it's just it's not even fighting, it's someone getting beaten the crap out of them. But other than that, it's just a very character driven show, and I really love character development and stuff like that. So basically, let's see, what is the best thing about it? Yeah, it's very character driven and very dialogue heavy. So like a lot of people who watch this show, if they get turned off by dialogue and like they get turned off by no action, then they just drop it. They're just like, oh yeah, I tried Monogatari series, like it was bleh. And I completely understand that too. But a lot of it is just like puns on the Japanese language, which I don't really get that, but that's fine. Like language barriers or whatever, there's always exist. And they're puns on its own genre. Like, it's so funny because they know that they're like a rom-com harem, not rom-com, romance harem supernatural thing. So they'll just like address that and say, like, for example, one scene, the main girl protagonist, I guess, matching, like, the girlfriend of the main protagonist, she's, like, talking to Araragi, and she's like, oh, yeah, I'm so tsundere. Like, you better watch out from me. Like, I know I'm not supposed to like you right now, because that's a trope from
Right.
romance.
Definitely a trope.
Yeah, and the trope is that girl characters who don't like initially, they don't like the main character, and they like stay back from them,
And they're like
then,
mean to them. Yeah.
yeah, and then all of a sudden, like through thick and thin, like the protagonist has finally proven themselves, and it's like, okay, I love you now. And like from the very beginning, like you want the two characters to be together, but one of the tsundere is just being like so obstinate to it. So she says that she's that, and she just like addresses it, breaking like a fourth wall kind of. And in actuality, like she's not like that at all. She's more like a yandere, which is like a crazy girlfriend, like someone who wants to kill them, because like her love is so undying for him. She always says like, don't forget that I'm gonna be the one that kills you, that way I'm the last one who sees you or whatever.
Oh,
and it's
Holy
like
shit.
yeah, it's super funny. Like, okay, it's not super funny, but it's once you know their characters and you've like gotten so attached to them, like it's just funny when they keep mentioning stuff like that. But yeah, there's it being a harem, or like what is it called? What's it called when you break down a genre? What is that? I forget.
Deconstruction.
Yeah, some people want to say it's like a deconstruction of harem, simply because it points out the facets of harems that make it like romances or whatever, and then it just like shoves it in your face, and that's what it does. It just like breaks down harem, makes fun of it, and then also uses it. Like a lot of people complain about how like ecchi some of the scenes are. Like the
toothbrush scene.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
scene where the main character brushes the teeth of his little sister, and it's
super
very
erotic,
sexual.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Oh
erotic, and
gosh.
people get really uncomfortable by that.
It's great though.
But-
Like, have you seen any of the series, Gabby?
No.
Have you seen any clips from the series at all?
I probably have, most likely.
Okay, well, it's definitely worth checking out. Like,
Not that clip. Don't
Not
watch
that-
just
yeah,
that
not
clip.
that clip.
Yeah, don't look up Toothbrush Sheen from Monogatari series. That's gonna be your first impression. It'll be pretty bad. But yeah.
but, like, you should definitely check out at least the first season, because I've only watched the first season and then like a few episodes with Christian.
Mhm.
But you know, I definitely got the feel of it. It is very dialogue heavy, but at the same time, just like all the visuals they throw at you, not only is it like really good, it's just like it keeps your eyes and mind moving all the time, because there's just like random words just popping on the screen, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I can't read that fast.
Yeah,
Like,
people call Bakemonogatari like a PowerPoint. They think they're like, they just say it's just a bunch of scenes, like a bunch of really pretty pictures just shoved in your face with like
Yeah.
very little movement. And that's kind of what it was. And then people started realizing that it's not Microsoft PowerPoint anymore. It's Microsoft Word, because you have to read so much to like get through one episode.
yeah.
But yeah, like the most interesting thing to me is that they can have an episode in the later seasons that is literally just two characters talking in one room, and that's it for the whole episode. They don't move. They just like reminisce, and they're like talking about something, and it kept me so intrigued. And
Yeah.
that's probably why I love that series so much. Is like how were they able to do that? But yeah, definitely not. The show's not for everyone. I wouldn't say everyone needs to watch the series or anything. Like if you get uncomfortable with like ecchi like fan service and stuff, then don't watch it. And if you don't like being bored sometimes, don't watch it. But
It's not even boredom, because you're like, I don't know, because the way you describe it reminds me of like some actual shows I watch, not like anime, like real person shows.
real person shows.
Whoa, I
That
really-
Western shit. What
We're
the-
we're not real people. What are we? We're just weebs. We're just otaku.
And
We're less than regular people.
I mean, like some of like my favorite series, like TV series, are just like all conversation, and so I feel like it's not boring. It's just like a different sort of engagement.
It's different though, because you have to read the subs, unless
Yeah.
you just know Japanese, Gabby. Well, I don't know. So, but, like,
I do not.
but then like the like, you know, just regular shows, you just listen. So.
Yeah, like it takes a lot of energy
I
to be
guess.
actively watching it. It's not like K-On! You can't just turn your brain off and just be like, cute girls doing cute things. Ha. Like you
Yeah.
have to understand what's going on, what are like the dire situations and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just way more interesting than a lot of anime that I've watched, like K-On!
Yeah.
But
Sweet.
yeah, I think that covers up Monogatari.
Cool. And I guess I'll go on to mine. which mine is like complete opposite. You guys are all like, oh, it's not for everyone, but this one's for everyone. It's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and like most people that I know who've watched it put it on their top list. Like, it's so good because there's Full Metal Alchemist and then there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and like if you watch the regular Full Metal Alchemist, then the beginnings will seem very similar because when the regular Full Metal Alchemist was being aired, they hadn't finished the manga. So when they caught up to the manga, they just kind of like were like, well, we're just gonna end it however we want since we have to finish the series.
Right.
And so then later on, when they finished the manga, they did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So they have very similar beginnings, but then the endings are like completely different. I haven't actually finished regular Full Metal Alchemist because I got kind of bored with it. So, and I just never got around to finishing it. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I watched all of it in like a week. I was not able to do anything else with my time because I just needed to know what happened. And so, if you don't know what Full Metal Alchemist is about, which I find that hard to believe.
Honestly, I haven't watched it, and
you don't know anything about it?
I mean, I've watched the original. Like, I watched a good chunk of it when it was on Toonami, but it was, you know how Toonami works. It doesn't. Or I guess you know how children work. You don't keep up with things when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Like, you just randomly watch it when it's on. And I was like, oh my god, what are they doing? What are all these powers? This is so cool.
Yeah.
And I never went to go look for the first episode because I don't even think the internet, like, had things like that yet.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
so I don't know.
Basically, there are these two brothers that you're following. They're the Elric brothers. There's Edward and Alphonse, or they just call him Al. And Al is in a suit of armor, and Ed has a automail, which is just like
a metallic arm.
Yeah, it's a metallic arm and leg. And the reason that they have that is because alchemists are like, it's just alchemy is like magic basically. But you have to have like a transfiguration circle, and they're like things you have to do in order to do the magic. And there's the like one forbidden act of alchemy is like human transmutation. So when you're trying to actually like either create a human or like merge
anything
a human with something, you're just like
like
messing with humans.
Experiments on humans is like taboo.
Yeah, it's super fucked up, and they get into that into pretty early on in the series, which is where people usually kind of end up giving up on the series because they feel like they can't handle it. Because it does get really, really dark. But it balances out with the like comedy in it, and I feel like they really, really perfected the balance of like light and dark in terms of like mood. But so basically, when they were younger, their mom died because their dad left them when they were really early and like really young, and so their mom died, and they tried to bring her back to life by just like through alchemy, and that's really, really hard to do, and I'm pretty sure no one had done it before, and they didn't succeed. And it took, because the way alchemy works is you have to have equivalent exchange. So if you have to give up something that is equal value of what you're getting. So basically, it took his brother's whole body, because Edward is kind of more the focus of it than Al, but they're both the main characters. But it takes Al's whole body, and it takes Ed's leg, and
dude,
so
is this like spoilers?
Not really. This happens within the first like few episodes. It's really
okay, because I can't remember.
No, it happens. They explain everything to you really.
Oh yeah, they definitely do explain it, but I'm just like, geez, Gary, just
yeah.
Yeah, you're going to
you
the
literally can't explain the rest of the series without explaining this. And since obviously Ed doesn't want to lose his brother, he like sacrifices his arm to transmutate his brother's soul into the suit of armor that like was just in the room with them because like their dad had collected a whole bunch of stuff. But so that's why Al has to be in a suit of armor, because that's where his soul is. So there's no body; it's just his soul. And then because all of that happened, then the rest of the series is basically them trying to get the Philosopher's Stone. And the Philosopher's Stone is like it's supposed to have magical powers to overcome the necessary like equivalent exchange. So it'll basically give whatever you want.
Okay, that is not what it did in Harry Potter. So
Yeah, it's completely different than Harry Potter. So that's like the whole goal of their like so they can get Al's body back.
Right.
Because they're not as worried about their mom anymore because when they tried to bring back their mom, they brought back this really creepy looking
skeleton half dead thing.
Yeah, it's really terrifying.
Yeah.
And so they just want to get Al's body back because for obvious reasons he's just gonna like live forever in a soul, and he's like has the like voice of like a 10-year-old. So
and he's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah,
8 feet tall.
and like the running like joke in it is because Edward is so short. Yeah. And like Al is in a suit of armor, everyone assumes that Al is the older brother. Yeah, and he becomes the state alchemist because that's the only way he can think he's gonna be able to get the Philosopher's Stone, because state alchemists can like get away with more things. Mm-hmm. And Edward is like really is a very talented alchemist, and so when you become a state alchemist, you get a name that's specific to like your style. Okay. And since he has like a metal arm and metal leg, they give him the name Full Metal Alchemist, which is kind of...
Oh, that's where the name comes from. Okay.
Whoa!
No, seriously, I never knew that.
Yeah, and so but when everyone sees them, they always travel together. They think that Al is the Full Metal Alchemist for obvious reasons because he is in a suit of armor. Yeah. So
that's just like me and my little brother. He's like 6 inches taller than me, and everyone's like,
yeah.
All right, so he's in college, right? And you're a sophomore in high school, right? And I'm like, oh god, no, that hurts my heart so much. But
yeah, that's exactly how Ed reacts. He says like, no, I'm like the Full Metal Alchemist, you, and then like gets like a little temper tantrum, and it's like funny.
Wow, I should totally watch that because that's
you
probably
should definitely
me.
totally watch this.
Yeah, no. It's definitely on my plan to watch. Yeah.
Everyone always talks about how Ed is short, and he gets so heated over it, and it's really hilarious. And it's just the thing I love the most about the anime is like all the characters, they make you fall in love with the characters. Like the Colonel, which is the guy who's basically above Ed and Al. His name is Roy Mustang, and that's actually my shirt is from. And he's my favorite character of like the whole series. Not that like the other ones are bad because everyone's great, but he has a really interesting past. I don't want to like get into it because I don't want to.
Yeah, don't spoil that.
But he's just like a badass. His like thing is fire, and
fire's always cool. Everyone always picks Charmander whenever you play Pokemon. But, like no one, not even a second choice.
They definitely pretty much most characters that they introduce, you end up finding some sort of emotional connection to them, and even like the bad guys and stuff. There are moments where you feel like you might not side with them, but you feel for them a little bit for like why they're in their situation. And I think that is like a huge thing that signifies a good series where you don't always just absolutely feel a hatred for the enemy. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has the best ending of any anime I've ever watched. It just ties everything up with a perfect little bow.
Wow, that's quite the statement.
I'm saying it.
I mean, if it's your favorite anime, yeah.
Stand by your convictions. Like I like
it. No, because there aren't many. I can't think of any loose ends that they leave. It just it really ties everything up, and
that's just like the ending to No Game No Life. Like
I love No Game No Life.
The ending to No Game No Life was such like a clincher. Like it closed every book. So satisfying, right, David?
I need to watch it.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, David's not going well with this at all. No. No Game No Life is the worst ending ever.
No, because like it totally leaves everything open, and you're like,
yeah.
I haven't seen it.
We're not spoiling anything. It's very open. Like it
was only one season. Yeah, they're just like, all right, time to battle the big boss, and it was like end of season 1.
Exactly.
Never start a season 2. So,
but the show's still good to watch.
Okay, so do you guys want to just give out like honorable mentions then?
Yes.
Like 2 or something like that were like really close up there.
Mm-hmm. So I'll go first.
Okay.
So the other 2 animes that I had kind of chosen on my top favorite list were Kino's Journey and I put a slash like Mushishi because both of them are really just like this traveling sort of anime where you kind of don't know who the character is, and they just travel and do like cool slice of life. Not really slice of life, but it's
not
just
really.
It's like adventure,
Hey.
like adventure mystery, right?
it's like I don't know. I wouldn't say Mushishi's adventure, but
Yeah,
it's
I
Well,
mean,
they're on an adventure, aren't they?
they're on a journey. They're
Okay,
on
Yeah.
yeah, that's a better way to
traveling.
say it. Not adventure.
So it's just really, it's really just calm, really like storybook like. And again, that's Kino's journey in Mushishi, and then my other one would be Sora wo Noto. Anyways, and
Sora no Wata.
Sora no Wato, yes,
Okay.
and it's just like cute girls doing cute things, except in the military. So, yep,
Yeah.
that's my
How do you?
two honorable mentions.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I also had Mushishi on my list of the top um, anime that I really really love. And my thing with Mushishi is like I love how they most of the time they keep the main character his background you don't really know much about it. Even when they start explaining it a little bit,
There's like
you're still
2.5
very
yeah.
confused.
Yeah, you're just like there's so many questions. You're just like
yeah.
okay.
And like Mushishi is something I honestly feel like you could watch the episodes in whatever order. Not that you would, but I'm just saying because like each episode is pretty much its own little story because it's him going from village to village to kind of solve these mysteries with
Yeah.
the Mushi.
Episodic, like Cowboy Bebop.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so and every time you have no idea how how it's gonna end. Like each episode is its own little story arc,
Right.
and
It's
just
just like
really-
it's like a mini story. Like I feel like I'm in bed, someone's
Mhm.
telling me this story, and it's just great. That's how I
yeah.
feel when I watch it.
Yeah,
So-
because if like no one knows what the like actual plot is, because we haven't really said it.
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it. It's fun.
plot?
It's fun like this. No, I said don't say it.
No.
Why?
We're just gonna touch on it. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
What's your other favorite?
Yeah, yeah.
My other favorite is Nana, which is like super shoujo.
Okay.
It's usually I need to read shoujo because I can't stand watching it because usually the voices are too high pitched and I'm just like, it makes me cringe.
Uh-huh.
And so when I read it, I can like do it in my own like voice in my head, so it's not as cringeworthy. But Nana's the only one that I've really been able to stick through the whole thing and watch, because it doesn't go into typical shoujo because main plot is like there are two girls, both of them they are named Nana, and one is like typical shoujo girl who's like really cutesy and just falls in love with all the boys, and then the other one is Nana, and she's like this like goth kind of looking girl. She's real like badass and she sings for this rock band and stuff like that. And it's their relationship that they have with each other because they're like become really good friends even though they're like opposites.
Sweet.
But and how their lives intertwine, and it's really really cool how like things end up even though the ending is really annoying because the ending, the author, not the author, but the author, she got sick, and so she's been on hiatus for like 5 years being sick,
Yeah.
and she like got sick at the worst possible time. There's no
She's
way you're
probably
sick for 5
sick.
years.
Yes, he probably has
You
cancer.
can, yeah,
like,
you can be
geez,
sick for 5 years. Or you can lose inspiration. Like that's that's a sickness too. I
It's
guess.
literally the worst possible place for her to get sick, and she needs to get over it.
Oh my god, salty
Alright.
fan over here, salty fan Gabby.
So
But-
I've been waiting for years.
Okay, yeah. So I would my 2-ish honorable mentions, which we're not like I'm not gonna say movies, but I guess I'd say Your Lie in April. Like David, you were like saying it was gonna be yours, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was like, despite you, I was gonna not say Your Lie in April, and then I was like, no,
It's
wait.
too good, even if you want to. Like it's just really good.
Yeah, basically, it's just a very emotional journey of these high school kids and their love for music. And it connected especially to me because I played a lot of music in high school, or just like the past like 9 years of my life has all been like classical music. And as like I've fallen out of love with classical music, and I watched Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, and I was like, oh my god, no, this is what music is about. Like, it's amazing. It touches you. And then just like the show, or like just like music, the show touches you like very, very emotionally. And
Hardcore sobbing.
yeah, it's very
Oh, yeah.
sad, but it's like it's a very good sadness.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Right.
it's
yeah.
like it's a very good.
It's like a very.
It'll break you. It's a show that breaks you, and like it's a very good broken. Like you know that you can mend it too.
It's a human broken. It's just like I need to feel these feels to be a human.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
also
Very
it's just like
satisfying.
it's very just gorgeous. It's just like
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah, no,
just
the art's
beautiful,
amazing. So and then the next one would have to be A Great Teacher Onizuka. Like it's just a classic comedy that doesn't. It was like it's so old that it like.
How old is it? Like when it came out?
I'm not sure. I think it was like in the 90s, but I guess I can look it up real quick. Great Teacher. Yeah, 2000. It aired 1999 to 2000. So
Nice.
I guess like beginning of I don't know whenever I was like I was in first grade in 2000. But yeah, like it's just it wasn't it was just trying to be funny. Like you didn't have to do anything to be like special back then. It was just comedy. And so like it's just about a teacher and how he wants to be no, it's about a guy, a thug who's like a 20-year-old guy who's like just getting out of college and he's like a motorcycle gang like leader and he wants to be a teacher. So he wants to be like the best teacher ever and they make him teach a like the worst class ever, like whatever 1-C or something like 1-5 or something. It's like no one, like all the homeroom teachers always get like fired or they quit from there because the homeroom teacher's or the class is so bad. But Onizuka like just mans up and uses his like rough and tumble ways that he's learned like all of his life to just whip them down, and it's so funny. It's just like his misadventures with all these kids that hate him. But yeah, so
Awesome.
everyone says it gets boring, but no, they're right. Yeah, it gets boring. But I mean, it's like it's like 43 or like 45, but it's like just classic comedy, and I just can sit there and just like laugh at it without having to think too hard.
Mhm.
But also the characterization is really good. Like you get connected really well with everyone. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right, so I think that wraps up our favorite animes. So I think we're gonna wrap up here real quick. But before we wrap up, let's talk about our theme for next week.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, we have a few options of what we want to do, and we just thought we would kind of discuss it over, like, actual streaming and everything. But so I was gonna say some of the ideas we had for maybe future themes are like if you could live in an anime universe, what would it be? There's like what anime has been on your list for a long time that you've been really meaning to watch but haven't, and kind of like what's been holding you back from doing that. Childhood anime, like which ones hold up, which ones don't. A guilty pleasure type anime, and what was the RNGesus game that you were saying?
Yeah, I just thought of like an RNGesus game, which is we're just gonna use a random number generator to generate like 1 through
probably like
the end of
probably through 50 or something.
No, the end of your Mal list, like your list of anime, because we all keep lists somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 through the end of your list, and we're each gonna get like 3 numbers, and you just look at those shows, and we're gonna talk about them, like our reactions, where we were on life with that. But yeah, that one just sounds like a really fun game without like we don't have to prepare for that. We can just do that whenever.
Right.
So.
So let's vote on 2.
We're doing that now. Okay,
Yeah,
go.
All right. So I want to vote for your game, Christian, the RNGesus one. That sounds really fun because you could just do like a few numbers and it'd be great. And then the other one I'm gonna vote for myself, the anime universe one. So.
Okay, Gabby, go ahead.
Let's see. I think that. Oh dang it! I kind of was gonna do the same ones David did.
Well then vote for them.
Okay, then
that's the point.
I was gonna do the same too. The anime universe and the RNGesus game.
All right, then it looks like that's it. That's okay. We're doing RNGesus and we're doing what anime universe? What?
What are you gonna choose?
No, it doesn't matter. It's 2 like it literally didn't matter.
Oh my god.
So yeah, next week. I guess yeah. Okay, so we're gonna wrap things up. Thanks for watching week 2. Be excited for week 3 podcast. We're going to talk about the RNGesus game. We'll explain it again next week, just in case it was too fast. And we're also going to talk about if we could live in any anime universe, what universe would it be? So,
All right.
stay tuned. Look at our Twitter and our SoundCloud and our blog and our YouTube.
YouTube.
If you want to
they're
see
all on the
anything that we're
Twitch.
doing, yeah, you can see it at the bottom of our channel.
Yeah, you can basically find everywhere you can find us at Daijoubu Podcast.
Yeah, just like type that in. Hopefully you'll find it somewhere. But all right, that sounds good. So just remember, Daijoubu!
I hate you guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.